everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Lions Grid. It is the 8th day of the 8th month, which means it's time for the 8th episode. And today is, of course, the kickoff of the NFL preseason. The New England Patriots are going to be in town today at Ford Field taking on the Detroit Lions. And me and my co-host, Joe Wilmot, are here to talk to you about the game. So, Joe, it's been... this is our 8th episode. We've been trying to build up momentum rolling into this preseason matchup with the New England Patriots. The day has finally arrived. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm excited. I'm anticipating the game and hopefully going to be able to see some key position battles, some good plays. You know, maybe a lot of players that you'll probably only see for one game. Just getting a idea of the team this year. You know, maybe some of the schemes, maybe some of the way they call run plays, pass plays. Maybe get a look at the quarterbacks and see which ones are going to be more compatible for the backup position. So, I'm just excited to see the Lions, in action. Wearing the uniforms here at Ford Field. Matt Patricia coming back. I know last year he had a terrible preseason. They had given up a lot of runs, not a lot of runs. I'm talking baseball Tiger terms, but they've given up a lot of points, and they didn't produce very many. They went 1-3, so their special teams was bad too. So hopefully that coach is on tack for a better preseason as well.
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot to be excited about. Even though it is only the first preseason game, I think plenty of things to be interested in. So you certainly covered quite a few of them there as you were talking about. So let's unpack that a little bit. Let's dig into a couple of these. Let's start with that backup quarterback position battle that you were just talking about there. Obviously, Matt Stafford is the undisputed starter when it comes to QB here, and really, if he gets hurt, I think the season's pretty much a wash. But nonetheless, you still got to look at who is going to be that number 2 behind him. Your two candidates are Tom Savage and David Fales. This will be our first real look at them in action. Both of them haven't had a whole lot of regular season exposure in their time in the NFL. They have seen some game action. I know David Fales last played for the Dolphins. Tom Savage did see some playing time when he was with Houston. So they've seen the field. They've been out there, but it's always been in a relief role. And neither quarterback has really impressed. Joe, what are you looking for out of these two guys in order to make you feel comfortable with the backup quarterback position moving forward for the Lions?
Accuracy and quick release. If you can have a quick release, you can be accurate, you can be a game manager, then you can be the number 2 quarterback.
Certainly, and I think another thing to toss on there, those are two big ones, but the third one I would say is just knowledge of the offense, right? Knowing how to execute it. So obviously, new offensive coordinator in Darrell Bevell. It's going to be interesting to see. This will also be our first glance at his offense to see what it's going to look like. But I think the way that these two quarterbacks are going to distinguish themselves is, as you mentioned, their accuracy. You can't make mistakes with the ball. But number 2, you have to show a mastery of the offense and understand the game plan and things like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how these two guys execute. It's also going to be interesting to see how Matt Stafford executes the new offense. But with it being the first preseason game, we're probably going to have to wait a couple weeks before we get a glimpse of him in there for any serious playing time here in the preseason. So, in addition to the quarterback battle, the new offense, there's another set of new things that'll be interesting to see. This will be their first game action for the rookies. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson, we've talked about him in the past episode, first round pick, a lot of expectations. He's a guy who a lot of people think could be really good. Obviously, as Lions fans, people are a little hesitant. They don't want to see a repeat of the Eric Ebron situation, even though Eric Ebron's gone on to good success with the Colts. But we don't want another situation where we invest that high draft pick in a tight end and then don't get any return. So Going to be interesting to see what happens with T.J. Hawkinson as a rookie, even though he is probably going to be competing for a starting spot. He should still see some playing time here in this first preseason game, so this will be our first look at him in game in the NFL. So exciting stuff there. And then, of course, the middle linebacker, Jelani Tavai, this is going to be our first chance seeing them. Both players getting a lot of looks in practice during the training camp, but this will be the first game action that we'll see of them. So, Joe, I know we've talked about it, that linebacking core being a sort of one of our weaker spots on this team. A chance for Tavai to come out here, Jelani, to show us what he's got and maybe make a mark here early on.
Yeah, he's a big question mark coming into the game because they didn't know if he was going to be a good pick in the second round. And, basically with Patricia's defense coming over from New England, that's a lot of 3-4 front that they're going to be running. You got Ashawn Robinson as the backup defensive tackle or the number 2 DT. You got Snacks Harrison as number 1. And then if you just lay out the other guys that are on the D-line, the defensive ends, you got an all-star defensive lineup for defensive end and defensive tackle. So really finding that number 2 guy, that number 2 middle linebacker, Jelani Tavai, if he can step up and he can know the playbook and he can, blitz when he needs to blitz, cover zone coverage, it'll be very beneficial for him to have real season playing time. But until that happens, look for some of the veteran guys to be playing like Ashawn Robinson and a lot of 4-3 frontage until we really get, the rookie settled in at the middle linebacker position. But I know Patricia's defense, and I know that he's going to want to run a 3-4 set sometimes. I mean, I run the 3-4 in Madden. Sometimes it's bad against the run, but it's better against the pass. Even a 3 wide receiver set on offense, you can run a 4-man linebacker set and have better coverage and have better ways of competing than if you had 3 cornerbacks, you have 4 linebackers. So basically, I'd like to see the rookie do well, and I'd like for these rookies that we do have, all of them, to stay healthy throughout the preseason so we can really get a good look at them and see who's going to be on the team moving forward.
Yeah, certainly. Avoiding injuries is going to be, it's paramount for any team here in the preseason. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the course of the game, but hopefully the Lions can stay injury-free, not have anybody go down. I think this will be a good game here for taking a look at some of the guys who will be adding depth to the team. A lot of your big names already talked about Stafford being out. Obviously, Darius Slay isn't going to be going. Trey Flowers, Mike Daniels, they're probably not going to be in this game. They haven't been doing they haven't done a whole lot in practice to start. So, they're the veteran guys. They're your stars. They're the established players. Probably not going to be going in this game, but that doesn't mean it can't be an exciting game. Obviously, on the Patriots side of things, you're not going to see Tom Brady, I don't think, or any of New England's big guns. But certainly, looking at the rookies, it'll be your first chance to see them. Obviously, if you're a fan of Michigan football, Chase Winovich is over there on that New England Patriots side, so this will be our first look at him in the NFL. So, even though you're not going to see the premier players, the A-listers for each team, I think there's still plenty to be excited about in this matchup today. And it's certainly going to be interesting because I think taking a look at some of the, the second string, third string guys and seeing how comfortable they're feeling with the game plan can be a good barometer of where the team's at. Obviously, each player can have their own independent mastery of the offense and the defensive game plan. But I think it is a good barometer, a good testing point to see where the second and third string guys are, because if they're looking sharp, chances are your starters are probably looking pretty good too. So, obviously we'll have to wait to see some of our big name players, but I think it's still a good way to see where everybody's at here in the early training camp and get an idea of, where they are in that process of getting that game plan figured out.
Yeah, I know last year I was easy to get upset with Matt Patricia. I got angry with him pretty quick into the preseason, pretty quick into his coaching career with the Detroit Lions. I hope that doesn't happen. He's already out there, claiming he got injured in the offseason, driving around on a four-wheeler,
Yep.
trying to coach these guys. But you wonder if that's going to, cause some guys to have a lack of respect for him or something because he's carting himself around out there. But, you just gotta. You don't know with Patricia. He's got the pencil behind the ear, look that he does all the time, just to do it. I mean, the things are on plastic. The play cards and all that stuff's on plastic. There's really no need for a pencil. You can't write on it. I mean, have a marker or something that wipes off, a washable marker. That'd be more ideal, but I mean, that's not a cool look to have behind the ear or whatever, but maybe if you got a cool looking Sharpie or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Is the pencil more for fashion, or is it actually for function? But yeah, I did see I was reading an article earlier today from Tim Twentyman, the Lions senior writer, and I did see that pertaining to Patricia's leg injury, they're still working on that, still working to get him rehabbed. I believe from that article, it did look like he'll be on the sidelines for today's game. He won't be on the ATV, but they're trying to make sure that he's going to be safe over there on the sideline. If you have a lower leg injury, it would be certainly a shame if somebody came crashing into the sidelines and took him out. Then we'd be almost like the Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, who's got that torn ACL he got while playing basketball already this offseason. Definitely want to see our head coach be able to move around and things like that and not be in danger. But it's kind of interesting, two NFC North head coaches dealing with some injuries at the moment. Well, I think really we've been building up to this moment all week. Some of our previous videos have been getting a little lengthy, so I think the best thing, we've talked about some things that got us excited for today's game. Really, we're going to keep this one short and sweet, today's episode, because I think really, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about the matchups or the roster battles. We've been, taking a look at all the different changes and things like that. And really, today is a day where we've done all the prep work. We get to just soak it in and enjoy football being back in Detroit. So, not a whole lot else to say. Obviously, should be a hopefully pretty entertaining game. You can check it out it should be on your local Fox affiliate, should be where it's going to be on TV, or you can listen into WJR radio to go ahead and hear the game call. But, at this point, all that's left to do is for the Lions to get out there and play the game. So, I, for one, am excited for the game tonight.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to finally watch Lions football again. It's been a long time. It's been almost a year.
It's been quite some time, so I'm happy to have it back. And again, just want to thank everybody who's helped support the show. Obviously, as we've said, this is our third season, but this is our first season using YouTube as the platform for the Lions Grid. So do just want to thank everybody for supporting us. I know we're still working towards our subscriber goal of 100, so if you like the show, do help the channel grow. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. You can hit the bell if you want to be alerted when our new videos are going live. But it really does make a world of difference for us. We appreciate your support, and we're looking to continue to grow on what has been, I think, a pretty successful launch here on the platform. But still more work ahead of us and looking to grow. So, thank you everybody so far for watching, for liking the videos, for subscribing. It means a great deal to us, and we'll continue to keep turning out content here in the preseason. And then, of course, once we're done here, we'll be taking it to the regular season where things get a little more interesting. But I think a good start here for the 2019 season.
Oh, Lions!
So, on those final words, we'll let Joe have it, and we will see you during the next episode. Good luck to the Lions, and we'll see you on the other side of the game. Have a good night.